Euro 2024 finally starts this week, and I tell you what, there are some seriously impressive players that Manchester United simply have to be watching at this tournament. So that's what I'm going to go through today. Some of the different players I think United should be keeping their eye on. Now, to be honest, this isn't going to be anything particularly groundbreaking. You will have heard of all of these names before. But what I basically want to do is give you guys an idea of who I'm watching, who I think you guys should be watching, and who United should be watching as well. So we'll start off in the left-back position, where Kerkez is definitely a name for United to watch at the tournament this summer. Reason being, he is an exciting young player, only 20 years old, who ticks a lot of the boxes of what United need in a left-back. Now, in terms of where you can watch him, you need to be watching the games of Hungary. They're in a strong group in Group A, but I think they've got a decent chance of progressing, and Kerkez could go on to have a really good tournament this summer. What are you actually getting when you're watching him? Intensity, athleticism, aggression. Someone who is kind of buzzing up and down the left-hand side of the pitch. In terms of actually on the ball, though, extreme technical quality. You know, not someone who's just an energy merchant and a passion merchant. Technically, he is very, very good on the ball. His ability to receive in deep areas, play with his back to goal at times, but also with the ball in front of him as well. He's very, very comfortable. He's got an excellent first touch, really good ball control, and then from there, that opens up the potential for him to be a progressive player for his side. Either carrying the ball from the back, you know, striding into open space, or actually physically taking players on, actually dribbling past them. He is that good with the ball at his feet that he is more than comfortable playing in this way. And of course, importantly, he can also progress the ball with passing play as well, you know, moving the ball inside or progressing up the line to his winger. It's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on at this tournament, but he is definitely someone that you must be watching. I'm looking forward to seeing those overlapping runs into the final third of the pitch, and it's going to be key to see how he does with his output in the final third. In terms of if United are looking to target him, this is something United will want from a fullback. Can they produce in the final third? That will be the big question for Kerkez at this tournament for me. I'm looking forward to see how he answers that question, because I think there's some really interesting games in that group. I think Kerkez has the chance to really flourish and really shine against some quality players. So yeah, United should definitely be watching Kerkez this summer, and I think you guys should be too. Another player that you guys should be watching and United should be watching this summer is another 20-year-old. It's another defender, but this time it's Antonio Silva. The Portuguese international will almost definitely start for Portugal this summer, I believe. Although we will be covering Portugal's tactics in a few days, so keep an eye out for that. But I think Antonio Silva will start at the heart of defence, and what he will bring is pretty obvious. On the ball, you are looking at calmness and composure. Someone who does things very much at his own speed. Never really flustered in these deeper areas, even when under pressure. Very calm, very confident, very comfortable playing the ball out from the back. In terms of as he moves a little bit further forward, you get elite ball progression. That can be via the carry, stepping out from the back and into midfield. At times it can be via the take-on, again actually taking players on and dribbling past them, although not all the time. And then the other thing as well is his progressive passing through the lines. He of course is used to playing in a Benfica side which dominates the ball, and with Portugal I would expect something very, very similar. They've got a pretty easy group, realistically the easiest at the tournament, or certainly one of. They should cruise through the group stages, and Antonio Silva really has the opportunity to show what he can do in possession. That will be the focus at this tournament, at least until the knockout stages. Should Portugal get to the knockout stages, which they should, then we will see more of a test of the defensive side of his game. What are we getting here? What are we looking out for with Antonio Silva when it comes to defending? We're not looking at athleticism. We're not looking at pace and power. He's not that sort of player. Once again, what we are looking at is someone who reads the game unbelievably well, and again is calm and composed. You're not going to see him in panic situations too often, I wouldn't imagine. He's very calm, very confident with his defending, and he almost has this aura about the way that he plays. He's just very confident in everything that he's doing, and I think United should be watching him this summer, because there's been talk for a few years now that he could be the ideal player to come in at right centre-back. He would of course have a massive transfer tag, but he's an unbelievably good player, and I think he will show it at the Euros this summer just how good he can actually be. So yeah, watch Antonio Silva.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
We've also got another Portuguese talent to be watching this summer. That won't really come as a surprise. He's a little bit younger, 19 years old, is of course Joao Neves, not exactly a new name on the scene, but still an unbelievably good player. One that United have been linked with quite a lot even in the past few days. Joao Neves is a simply unbelievable talent. I was one of the first people to do a video on him around 12 months ago. Go check it out if you want to. He has grown a lot since then though. He has matured into the complete all-round midfielder at just 19 years old. In terms of what he does on the ball, technically he is absolutely brilliant. He can receive the ball under pressure, he can receive the ball on the back foot, he's comfortable turning, but he's also comfortable keeping it nice and simple as well, using his passing game, moving the ball forward through the midfield, progressing it out to the wingers, but also at times keeping it safe, playing sideways, understanding how to manage the tempo of a football match. But I actually think where Neves impresses perhaps a little bit more is out of possession. He's a terrier. You know, he's only a small player, but that doesn't stop him getting involved in the battles, in the fights, and winning duels in the middle of the pitch. He is absolutely brilliant. Again, for such a small player, he uses his body so well to almost get under the opposition. And physically, he is not afraid of that battle. He's also, and you might notice this at the tournament, weirdly good in the air, despite he's such, you know, again, such a small player. Again, a bit like Antonio Silva, he should have a fairly comfortable group stage, and I'm not too sure if he will be starting games. However, should Portugal qualify from the group early, Joao Neves could then come into the starting 11 for the last game, and should he play well, he's then got an opportunity to hold down a spot for the knockout stages. If he does that, you will see just how well-rounded he is as a player. I think we're pretty sure United have an interest in him. Price, again, is going to be a question. But again, he's a simply phenomenal player, which United must watch. And if you want another video on him, do let me know in the comments. We are, of course, going to continue in the midfield position, but actually look at a completely different profile. If before we were looking at a slightly small terrier player, now we're looking at a big, dominant, powerhouse player. Amadou Onana, 22 years old. Again, it won't come as a surprise that I have mentioned him. You guys know that I'm a big fan of him. This is a chance for a wider audience to watch him on a more regular basis and see what he's like, again, against some of the best players in the world. So what are we looking for with Onana? I think we know. Ground-eating dueler. Someone who is going to cover a lot of ground in the middle of the pitch and put out fires everywhere simply with his pure physicality, his long legs putting the tackle in. He's going to win battles all over the pitch, on the floor and in the air. That is what he will be in the Belgium side to produce. But also stuff on the ball as well. Once again, Belgium do have a pretty easy group that they should progress from. So therefore there will be a demand really for Onana to excel with the ball, and I think he has the potential to do that. I think technically he is much more secure than what people give him credit for. In fact, I actually think he's very, very good with the ball at his feet, particularly his long-range passing. Big switches from deep out to the other wing is something you have to be watching out for at this tournament, because people don't talk about it enough when it comes to Onana and his performance and his skill set. Onana is absolutely brilliant at switching that ball. The interesting thing for me is going to be seeing what sort of role he has in the team. Is he going to be almost like a 6, sitting just in front of the centre-backs? Is he going to be in a double pivot alongside someone like Mangala? Who knows? Or is he going to be given that licence to actually get a little bit further forward? It will be interesting to see, because I do think people still have question marks over his best position should he sign for United. But again, it's obvious why you should watch Onana. We've spoken about him plenty of times. United will be watching at this tournament. You should as well. You definitely should as well, because he's a quality player, and again he has the chance to really flourish on the international stage. As we move towards the forward line, the right wing position is once again the player that we have spoken about on plenty of occasions, 21-year-old Spanish international Nico Williams. Now interestingly, I mark him as a right winger as a target for Manchester United. However, for Spain, he will actually most likely play on the left-hand side, so that is definitely something to consider when you are scouting him and thinking about United signing him. However, whatever side of the pitch he plays on, you're going to get something very, very similar. And the reason for that is because he's an excellent two-way player. Someone who can come inside from the right onto his left foot, or go down the outside on his right foot. Of course, on the other side, it's outside onto his left, or inside onto his right. But either way, his ball carrying, his dribbling is up there with some of the very best in the world. And in terms of an exciting player to watch at the Euros, you won't get much more exciting than Nico Williams on the ball, should he be given the licence to express himself and attack in the final third of the pitch. I actually think the Spanish side has a really nice balance across their front three. One of the best balanced front threes at the tournament, in my opinion, this summer. But a group stage will be incredibly difficult. Someone like Nico Williams will have to produce. Of course, that will come from creativity and crosses into the box, where I think he's actually very, very dangerous. but there will also be an expectancy for him to chip in with goals. I don't see an abundance of goals coming from that Spanish midfield, so there will be pressure on all of the front three. It'll be interesting to see if Nico Williams can step up in that department. He's had a very good season for Athletic Bilbao. Can Williams do it this summer at the tournament for Spain? I'm not too sure. If he can, then we could be talking about a player really propelling himself into the eye of everybody, because his talent is obviously that good. And then finally, to cap off the video, we are finishing off with another 21-year-old international, this time Benjamin Sesko, who will be up front playing for Slovenia. Now, Sesko is going to have a very interesting tournament. Should Slovenia succeed or have any chance of progression from the group, Sesko will be vital. They do go into the group as the underdogs, the kind of the worst team in the group stage. There will be a big expectancy on Sesko. So what can he actually produce? Pure goal output. Absolutely brilliant in and around the box. His movement is top quality, but his finishing is next level. Left foot, right foot with his head, acrobatic, any sort of finish, Sesko has it in his locker. He is an absolute demon in front of goal, and someone which all the centre-backs in the group need to be watching out for. He is that good. Of course, what else he is going to offer is threat in behind in the channels. This is an athletic young man, tall, strong, but also quick and powerful. That kind of modern mould we're seeing of striker at the moment. The ability to, yes, be big and battle, but also to move into the channels with power and speed. Sesko is going to be asked to do all of that, and I think he has the ability to do so. The big thing that I'm interested in with Sesko this tournament, though, is the fact that he is in a side which are underdogs against Slovenia. They are coming into the tournament with little expectancy. And when you are an underdog, what you can see at times is against the better teams, you play quite a direct approach. You can go long quite a lot. I am really interested to see if Slovenia will do that, and if they do, how Sesko does with his hold-up play. Because he's a very big physical striker, a bit like Rasmus Højlund. However, we know that Højlund, despite that size, hasn't been great at being a hold-up striker and a proper target man this season. It will be interesting to see, should Slovenia play in this way, can Benjamin Sesko do it? This is what I'm really interested to see. The rest of his game, to be honest, I'm pretty convinced on. I think the potential for a world-class player is quite evidently there. I really like him as a player. This is the side of his game that I would like to see a little bit more of, and I think we've got a very decent chance of seeing it this summer. And in general, I think we've got a very decent chance this summer of seeing some great players that United should definitely be targeting. Do you want videos on any of these guys more in depth? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. But also, do you want videos on these positions? Should we look at left backs at the Euros that United should watch? Should we look at right centre backs at the Euros that United should be watching? The same for midfield, right wing and striker as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you want that. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.